Hello everyone, so today we are going to talk about our book presentation and the book that we read. So the book that I read was Tonguç Baba Ülkeyi Kucaklayan Adam, which was written by Mehmet Cimi. So let's start answering the questions. The first question was, what is the central idea discussed in the book? The central idea discussed in this book was education in villagers' population. Like, it was talking about how the villagers look at the way of being educated or going to school. They firstly didn't even know, they didn't want anyone to be educated because they thought that it doesn't help in any way and they can't get money from it, so they weren't letting anyone to go to school, or neither they were going to schools. So what issues or ideas does the author explore? The author explores that how a village or villagers can be educated and have no difference with other peoples living in cities. Are they personal, sociological, global, political, or economic? I think they're political because they were both politicians and educators. They were doing politic things, working on politic things, and also were teachers and were working on students and schools and those kind of things. So the second question, do the issues affect your life? Yes, they affect our life because they're in every part of our life, and if they weren't doing this job at that time, then we wouldn't be educated or even developed now. So how so directly on a daily basis or more generally does it affect your life? It affects, of course it affects our life directly because, as I said, it's in every part of our life. We can see it everywhere. There's nothing done without education in this life. So the third question was, talk about two specific passages that struck you. One of the specific passages that struck me was so sad, which was that they didn't letting girls to go to school or be educated. And the second one was interesting. That was the way of Tonguç Baba getting in high positions. He wasn't in the first place, couldn't even go to school because of his parents, but when he started to go, then he became in high positions each day. And yes, that's it. What was memorable to me in these two passages? The memorable part was how Tonguç Baba made most of the girls get educated in the village, because as I said in the first, they weren't letting girls or even boys to go to school or be educated. But when Tonguç Baba started to tell them, like talk about education and show them the difference between educated and uneducated people, they start to let their kids, their girls and boys to go to school. So question 4 was, what have you learned from reading this book? Has it broadened your perspective about a difficult issue? What I learned from this book was that people really change when they're educated or have any education in their life or going to school when they go to school. And it has broadened my perspective about however the situation, however the condition is, if you want to achieve something, you can just do it in spite of any difficulties. And has it introduced you to a culture in another country? I think I already knew because it was in our country, but I learned something about our past culture, how they were. So that's all I think about this book. I answered all the questions, and thank you for listening.